Isabella, when you finish school, what would you like to be?
I think when I'm finished, I like to work in the restaurant.
Malik Hutchinson and Isabella Sanchez are first-form students at Itz'at STEAM Academy in Belize City. Both are hearing impaired, and had they not have a sign language interpreter present, they would have had a harder time grasping the concepts of their lessons. This is part of an education tool for students who need it at the secondary level. But the culture of having it has been lacking. Rose Williams has been a sign language interpreter for almost 57 years, and she says it is necessary.
Signing and doing interpreting is very important for them to get whatever is being said because they cannot hear, and so they will not be getting whatever is being taught. So I need to get it, whatever the teacher is saying, and then I sign it to them so that they can understand.
Sign language has been a part of Stella Maris's culture for decades. Teacher Sherry Salgado shared that this practice dates all the way back to the 1950s.
This school started off with one student who was visually impaired. Back then they didn't know much about how to cater for him. So sister at the time, she went to Jamaica and she came back with information of how to assist. And so when the school actually started, it started off with one visually impaired, three visually impaired students, one deaf student, okay, and the child who had meningitis, and their classroom was downstairs, what we call the Sister Cecilia home back then. And you know, they used to house mentally challenged persons there. So yeah, that's how it started. So from 1958.
Beyond cultural considerations, sign language should be a tool available in all Belizean schools. Christy Almeida, Special Education Program Coordinator at the Ministry of Education, emphasized that a student's inability to understand a lesson due to hearing impairment does not reflect their intelligence.
A child or a student who is deaf or hearing impaired does not necessarily mean that they have an intellectual impairment. There might be other issues, but for the most part, these kids should and could be supported in our inclusive setting.
But, as Almeida pointed out, there are two main issues. There aren't enough qualified interpreters, and the salary offered for the position isn't attractive enough for them.
Finding interpreters that can provide the service for them so that they can interpret what the teacher is doing, and there is a serious lack of interpreters, people with that sort of qualification. And it's almost like a chicken and an egg, because we have some people in the deaf community that can sign, or that support those in the deaf community that can sign, but they will say it, they're like, well, how much am I going to get paid? Maybe I can get paid more if I go to a call center.
In the classroom, sign language helps to close communication gaps, especially in exams.
I would read whatever the problem is and explain it to them so that they know what the problem is asking for. And then I leave it to them for them to work it out.
Male, good.
Sherry Turton-Gillett, the sign language interpreter at Stella Maris School, shared that keeping the younger students engaged can be quite a challenge. To capture their attention, she must get creative in the classroom.
I have to do some attractive visuals. First of all, even if it's the letter A has to have an alligator behind it or an apple as well, you know, and then the sign for A on the card along with the letter A. And I would sign, okay, this is A. I will point to the letter A and I will show them this is A in sign language.
13-year-old Jada Mushtamp also has a hearing impairment. She relies on a sign language interpreter at Itz'at to help her understand her lessons better. But outside of school, she also gets creative in finding ways to communicate with others, just like many people do. You have your friends outside of school. How do you communicate with them?
She communicates by using her phone.
Reporting for News 5, I'm Marion Ali. Belize.